Alrighty, so I wanted to make this video kind of like an announcement and also kind of like a request. I've been working on creating a game for a few days now, and I'm still very early in the process. I've covered the start of the game, the first village, etc. And I kind of wanted to get this out here because I'm going to be doing a few dev blogs a week. Probably not every day because this isn't this isn't my main job. Uh, I'd like it to be at some point, but for now, I will probably upload 3 or 4 a week. Not daily, but a good amount. I wanted to show off some of the work I've done. It's a little crude because again, I have only been working on this a few days, and this would be my first video game ever made. So I'm still relatively new. Okay. I won't get into everything about the game and how it works, how it'll be. That would be more covered in my dev blogs. So I'm just going to launch a little bit of a playtest here. So you see here, currently I haven't worked with the ini file. If you've never heard of an ini file, it's basically, you know how when you launch a game, there's usually options for resolution, sound, subtitles, etc. That's all done on the back end through an ini file. So if we were to go to, where is it? Learning game here. This is the ini file. And right now, this is all it says. So there's nothing really set up here. And that's okay, I'll get to that. So when you first launch the game, it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna change the title to the background. Pretty much everything about this little section. It'll have options and a whole bunch of, the things that are generally expected. So when you launch the game, I have a little bit of a, opening message. I'm not sure if this will be voiced yet. It very well could be, but I think for now, going forward, I'm gonna leave it silent. Just as something for the player to read. Ultimately, what I want to do with this game is kind of a proof of concept. I'm not a huge artist. In fact, I'm a very shitty artist. So some of the creatures and things in this game are going to look crude, or they're going to be Creative Commons illustrations and pixel art. A lot of pixel art, because I'm not the most artistically gifted. So this game is supposed to be more like I am dedicated to doing the story, characters, classes, all the sorts of game design ideas, and also the development. So the coding, the scripts, all of that kind of work I'm willing to put in. I just need an artist, whether it be someone who would willing to do it for free, just out of the kindness of their heart. But that's not. I don't think that would be the case usually. I'd be willing to do things like, you get 25% of the profits, or, it can be negotiated, but basically I'm looking for artists. So when you first open the game here, you'll notice you're a little bit of a wisp here. You can sprint around and all that kind of pizzazz. I might change the floor, mainly because it's just hard to see the wisp. Or I might change the coloring on the wisp, I'm not sure yet. But you approach this man, and he has some dialogue. I won't put in some like cringy voice acting here. I'll just let you read. Alright, and this is basically the starter sequence, where you can say you're a boy, boom, the boy protagonist will spawn into the game, replacing your wisp model, and then they'll ask you for your name. The defaults are going to be there like in most games, so I'll just do this. Let's do Mark, just because example name, it's a rather common name. Then he says, player character. It basically, the code means player character. And then this is the point where he would ask you what class you want to be. For now, that's not in the game. I've been working on designing the classes, basically, the last few days. Then you get this dialogue for when you pick a girl. And it switches to the female protagonist. I'll leave her as Nagori. And you see your model changes. I tried to make them look similar, just kind of like the same character, but if it chose to be a girl or a boy, So that's basically all I have for the intro part of the game right now. I've done more. As you see, I set up this little village here, and people who are familiar with RPG Maker should immediately spot that this is a template. Basically, I didn't want to worry about world building for my very first town, just because I wanted to, at the start, focus on learning, like creating events like doors and all that sort of stuff here. So, like, if I go here, let's see, and in a way, this this is kind of also like a demo for the game, or a demonstration. I'll just make myself the male character for now. And let's go. So, after your class creation and character and this is where you would land after that. You see, hold on. I have to do a few things that the game would do for you through various events that I create and stuff like that, but I haven't done that yet. So you spawn into the game, and either way you go, this is gonna prompt a dialogue. So you go down, there you go. You go sideways, there you go. Now there's going to be a conditional statement. If you've already had this dialogue, you'll no longer get it. It's pretty simple and standard. when you go here, you're gonna be hit with some scrolling text. This once again gives you your controls. I'll probably speed this up because I assume most of you can read decently fast. You go down. Mom asked you to check on your father. You go. And you have some dialogue options. Now, I tried my best to make these matter, or at least he will say different things that make sense. So you should say, "You should be worrying about yourself, Dad." Then you have your two choices. This one's kind of emotionally blunt, and I mean both of these are a little grim. Lily being your little sister. See, you can check on your little sister. I haven't made dialogue for her yet. I probably will. Oh. See here. So you go downstairs. You can talk to your mother. So you see there, I have what used to be the main character, there, and you see there. So that'll be changed, of course, on release. This is kind of just a really early demo of what it would look like. So you see, example, you have a functioning weapon shop. See all the basic weapons here. Let's do short sword and spear. Right. So go here. Let's have an item shop. You see, you have your standard potions, your antidote, and such. You have the big, expensive WoW item, the Life Up. I plan to make this only have one stock later, but for now it's also infinite, but it's really expensive, so for now that doesn't really matter that much. You go... you go here. There's some dialogue here. So these were some of the very first things I did in the game. So you go to your equipment, you can, you know, So these items would be given into your inventory usually, but because of the character I'm currently using, it doesn't work like that just yet. Here. You have your standard inn, and then you get here, which is the first dungeon right here. So because that character is supposed to change, let's go here. It's warrior. Right, so we'll make him a warrior for now, let's say. We go, and we'll start in the first floor here for now. Let me speed through that. I wasn't actually prepared for that, so that's my bad. You see, the old warrior gives you your first weapon, and your mom gives you your dad's old armor that he used when he was in the war. There will be more exposition when the game is fully finished. For now, there you go. Hand axe, father's plate. Right. So you get to your first dungeon here. This is optional. I'm showing it off now, but realistically, when people that don't watch this play it, they might not even see it because it's just another house. You know, they might not investigate it, right? So, the first enemies here are supposed to be easy. You know, they're basic first dungeon enemies. You'll encounter them quite often, so that you can level up and such. You see, 10 XP received. Another battle. A mimic emerged. Yeah. Alright. So then you get the game over screen. So if we go here, to this here, there isn't, if we go to map properties, actually, this mimic thing wasn't supposed to be there. I wanted to give a strong enemy. Let's see, so go back to where we were. Forget the gear at this point. See, there's going to be chests in the dungeon. You get a circlet. The warriors can equip the circlet. Get 50 gold. I think there's a third one. If I remember correctly. And I'll probably make the spawns less often as well, because they are a bit obnoxious where they are now, as you could probably see. You see, there they are. Full potion. Iron Claw. And I think, if I am correct, that is the, yep, that's all the loot in the first dungeon, aside from what the mobs inside can drop. So then, the warrior sent you to this old forest, and for now, there's no loot inside here. I've basically placed this without, without weighing in on it and specify by region ID, but we'll leave that there for now. This would be where you encounter the first boss. It'd be a toughie, but at this point, assuming you have been led through the narrative, you should be around level 5, level 6, level 7. It depends on how grindy you chose to approach the game. And you should have your first party member. Now, if you want to look at that first boss, let's say, go to database. Oops. Boss Fang. We go to Vakai. Make him level 6. Alright, you got your hand axe, you've picked up your buckler, got the bandana from the shop. You have Father's plate, no accessories. And then your first party member, Rick, has his standard stuff. He comes at level 7. Right? You see this boss here. At this point in the game, you've gotten some abilities. Both of the main characters have an ultimate ability. So the male ultimate ability does a shit ton of damage and makes the target very vulnerable to physical damage for a few turns, right? And the female main character is going to have a team-wide buff, which I actually prefer. I think it's pretty cool. It buffs all of your stats for quite a bit, and it permanently raises your health. Well, it permanently raises all stats by 1. So the more you use it, theoretically, the stronger your party gets permanently. Now, obviously, you could farm it out if you wanted to, but it's really not necessary. So you see the warrior enters the counter stance. He's basically becoming a tank. Very powerful ability. See, 5 damage, 6 damage. But in comparison, right? 6 damage, but he takes 62, 43. See, he's really getting hurt here. You see all of its main attacks go to the tank, but Rick is basically dying to AoE. See, right now we are paralyzed. Alright, we're no longer paralyzed. So now we can hit him with a pommel bash. For now. Hopefully I get to use the ultimate. Oh, well, just short. So, you know, usually you'd have potions picked up by now, and you probably aren't just saving for your ultimate ability for the very first boss. which would make the boss a little bit easier. I wanted him to be threatening, but not so much so that you can't win without grinding past him, or some things that RPGs do that can be very annoying sometimes. So I've only gotten one class completed. I wanted the level to go up to 25 for this first one. Again, because I didn't want to make a massive game, I just wanted a proof of concept kind of. So here you go. Just change back all my stuff because that has stuff to do with scripts. So you see, female main character gets Blessing of the Lionheart. Male main character gets Lionheart Strike. So you see, they're both. This is basically their last name. So we go to the skills here. So you see, recover 25% of your max health, 25% of your max mana, plus 100, plus 100. It adds the Holy State buff, and it buffs all of your stats, as well as permanently giving you +1 to all stats for the rest of the game. We go over to states. We go to Holy Shield. You see here that it doubles your defense, makes you take 25% less physical damage, and you restore 5% of your max health every turn. This is going to last for 3 turns here. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I mean, I've made some enemies here. Yakuda is my first. Yikes, I'm not an artist, but he gives a really cool legendary weapon. I wanted him to be a secret enemy, basically. So he gives a really good katana forged by an ancient deity, 15% evasion, 50 more attack speed. Your attacks are always the wind element, though. And it adds the Yakuda Seal ability, which, when you unleash it, you recover half of your mana. You add the state Wind Demon, you buff your agility so you get faster. You learn 2 skills, Gale Blade, Tornado Slash, and you permanently increase your agility by 1. So if you go to, let's see, where is it? Gale Blade, a quick slash that deals wind damage and reduces an enemy's defense. This should be here. So you see it does the max defense break, and it has its scaling 150 plus your, like, the caster's agility times 4 plus the caster's attack times 6, but it does not pierce defense, so it's minus the target's defense. And then you get Tornado Slash, which is a much more expensive and also deadly ability, where it debuffs both defense and agility. It's 350 plus your attack times 5 plus your level divided by 2. So it has 150 speed, so it pretty much always hits first. It hits all, right? So it's a pretty powerful ability. Other than that, yeah, I only have 1 class done. I got the two main characters. I haven't worked on the party members. I'm not gonna go with the default ones that they give you. I've made a few armors. The recovery ring is like an accessory. You go here. There you go. So you see, like this one. So if you have it equipped, your magic defense goes up by 50. Your max mana goes up by 50. You restore 2.5% of your max health every turn, and it adds the ability to use magic as well as the magic ability recovery 2. So if we go to skills, go to recovery 2, restore HP to all allies, and here's the formula, right? So there's a few things I made. The Phosphor Cloak is the fur mantle of Fuki no Kaiba. which is the first boss. It gives 5% evasion, you take half ice damage, you become immune to paralysis. It adds the ability to use special skills, so if you're a class that can't do that. And it adds Howl of the Tundra, which is here. Increases your attack, your ice damage, and restores HP, so it gives you an attack buff. It adds Ice Force, and it recovers 5% plus 50 HP. It also recovers 20 HP by default. I might buff this ability to be a little bit more useful in the late game, just kind of like a trade-off, right? So you have a really early game accessory, you got it from the first boss, and its stats have kind of fallen off at this point, but the ability it gives is really cool, right? So that would be like, maybe it's an interesting trade-off. Other than that, I think that's going to be it. That's basically everything I've done up to this point. I would really appreciate it if you could, what am I looking for? Follow me along with these dev blogs, maybe share it around. If it's a game you'd definitely be interested in, it just, maybe it looks neat, go ahead and give this video a like. I'll always accept comments. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them into the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them, and I will answer any and all of them. Other than that, I do thank you for looking at this video, and I hope you have a great day.